everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be trying to play rotation safe mono green Stompy. I can honestly say my hopes are not that high. Just starting it off, I'm letting everybody know right now that my hopes on the deck is not necessarily through the roof. I have not played any matches yet, but the idea is to target kind of the Boros decks or the mono red decks and just put bigger creatures in the way, be really annoying, and then whenever it comes to our turn to attack, to kind of one-shot them or two-shot them over the progressive turns. The best creatures and kind of starts to have here is Evolving Adaptive is pretty good to have on turn 1, because realistically this very quickly becomes a 2-2 or even a 3-3 by turn 3 based on how your hands can play out. So we play Adaptive. We play either a Beast Caller, which is the better version in my mind of Sharp-Eyed Rookie with this kind of build of the deck. Sharp-Eyed Rookie is good at getting Investigate tokens or Clue tokens, so you can draw cards, but Beast Caller just naturally gets bigger. And then if it dies, it can move its counters around, so you don't lose that value off of it, and it's just off a cast, so the creature doesn't necessarily have to be bigger. And kind of getting this or this in on turn 2, and then playing a Flourishing Bloomkin on turn 3, or even a Bristly Bill with a land drop, and having a hard-hitting Questions come off the top there. There's a lot of good plays that you can make on turns 1 through 3. The main issue that we might run into today that I can see is Control doesn't seem like a great matchup. The Orzhov kind of decks don't seem like a great matchup, but realistically what we want is we want to fight the other creature decks, and we want to come out on top with this build. So outside of that, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and let's just go ahead and get into it. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Oh boy. My opponent goes first. That's fine. They can go first. I'll allow it this time. The Control, because if that's the case, we're literally in our worst matchup. Our fever dream, if you would. Creature. Pass. Could have been a lot of things. Most likely is a March. Oh, it's blue-white tempo. I was not ready for that. Interesting. I just curve out, or do I play this? This becomes a 3-3 kind of naturally, right? So I might as well just play it. And if they want to trade this off, be my guest, but I highly doubt it. If I ever had to highly doubt something like that before. Sure. It hit me. Okay. That's to find a land. Interestingly enough, I think it was Bristly Bill. The Billster. Land. I will target Bill. That's a lack of tempo there, but knowing they play bounce spells, I would much rather kind of divide and conquer here instead of putting it all in one. But they're in a little bit of trouble next turn, especially if my Bloated Contaminator resolves. If I find land, I feel good. They attack for 3. Trying to keep under pressure themselves. Let's play Adaptive. Play land. Put counter on Adaptive. And let's play Bloated Contaminator. If this resolves, they're in a lot of trouble, which most likely it will. It does. And these creatures get shipped in. They have 1 blocker, and they take 9. Down to 2, up to 4. And now they kind of have to figure out how to win from here, which, like, a March is going to require most of their hand. They attack again. Set me to 12. Second Denick. A March plus pitching 3 can take, like, some of our creatures away. But here's something very cool about Bristly Bill. Is I can double every single counter on all my creatures. I guess I could have put one on the Bloomkin, but it's big enough on its own. I would like to activate this ability. Again, if this is a March phase out most of my creatures, pitching most of their hand, I feel like good about my chances of winning. They're down to 1. They go back to 3. I'm still at 12. They have no cards. They have 2 cards, of course, but like March cost them to pretty much have no cards, and then I have the same amount of attacking power as I had previously. But 1 down for mono green. Kind of surprised, not gonna lie. I was just expecting to queue up and lose every game, but we'll find out how it goes. We go first. I like his hand. This hand's fine. Play the scout. See how this goes. We draw a land, so we just have a 1/1, which a little bit worse for a hard-hitting question here. Like mono red, especially in this case where like we'd love for that to hit, so I'd be able to hard-hitting question the Swiss Spear out of the way. But Bristly Bill an option now. I'm gonna go ahead and play it. We pass, and the scout might jump in front of the Swiss Spear now, but trample a very good option, most likely. Bristly Bill getting hit. Sure, make them commit it now if they have it. They don't. Sure. Play Bristly Bill. Play this. Put a counter on Bristly Bill. Have this hit the Swiss Spear. Get their other threat off the board. And we'll see how this turn lines up. Sure. Obviously, we'd love for Bristly Bill to stay around. It's just not going to be that way for now. We play a Bloated Contaminator. They don't have a threat. As long as they don't have threats, most likely we will be sitting pretty solid. But they keep finding removal. A Witchstalker Frenzy kind of sucks here. It takes this out, and then this creature is a lot more vulnerable to spells. Godric. I say if they attack, I'm calling it a bluff. I just don't believe it. Evolving Adaptive. We'll play here. Adaptive will get a counter. I'll put extra counters on this guy. This is 6. Honestly, this is going to start causing a lot of problems. I'm just getting them in. Especially after next turn. Now it's even bigger. And this is now larger. We have 5 here, 7 here. It's looking really good, especially with this case going to come in. Felden can't block. You have another permanent. Most likely not. Sure. I have 9 damage now on board, which is fine. They're going to hit me with 5 for 1 card in hand. Sure. I'll take you up on that offer almost any day of the week. This will come in. I'll put counters here. Yes. The reason we put counters here is because this will proliferate, growing this even bigger this time. So now I have trample. This will trigger giving this trample, and they have to kill me at 14. I don't think they have what it takes, as we obviously saw, but either way, on to the next one. All right, my opponent's here. I'll play an Adaptive. All today. Had to click off and make sure I was recording because I have failed to do that in the past. Boros. No. What do I play here? Land. Is it supposed to be the rookie? Or is it supposed to be the... This is just when I cast a creature, so it's supposed to be the Beast Caller. I have learned, chat. Through the ways. Beast Caller, when you cast, put a counter. The creature has to be bigger than it, so it's like a little bit awkward. You have Gleeful Demolition. Huh? Yeah. That is a Magic the Gathering play for sure. Now I'll play Bristly Bill. Put a little counter there. Put a little land action in there. Put a little counter on this guy. Then I'm honestly going to see if they block. Sure, dude. Coming from the man playing Boros. Big sleepy time Boros player. Okay. Go first. I have pretty much the same hand as I had last game, so I'm going to keep land Adaptive. We have either mono white or Boros. There's a lot it could be. Bristly Bill come in, make a depth of a little bit bigger. We attack. Obviously, no blocks are coming in here, as that makes a ton of sense. Because, like, why would we block here? Nothing. Maybe a Get Lost. It'd be interesting. Beast Collar, sure. Land. Bristly Bill trigger. I guess I should make Bill larger, even though it's already kind of a target here. No pause. I assumed they would have the flash creature is what I was waiting on. But no pause there. Interesting. Could argue Bristly Bill is supposed to put a counter on Beast Collar in case Beast Collar dies and I can move the counter around a little. But what do we have coming in now for 3? Brutal Cathar, sure. Maybe it was a little bit aggressive to do that. I could be definitely talked into that being way too aggressive. Now this can come in, it'll be a cast and it'll also be larger than the adaptive, so it's fine. So I cast creature, that grows, the centers is larger than that, so now I attack for 6. Will they block? No, that makes sense. Wouldn't really be looking to block here either. Human, sure. Veteran, sure. We have second Brutal Cathar. Here's the only thing about Brutal Cathar in this matchup is every creature kind of starts getting large, becoming quite a problem, and Brutal Cathar is not going to want to block ever, especially with the Bristly Bill hidden under there. Right now, each one of these creatures are massive. They're about to become more so. Play a case. I would like to put a counter here and a counter here, making everything as awkward as possible, and I'm shipping them all. Obviously, Emadanes could be threatening on the backside, but they have to block here. I don't really have a choice. 2 of these creatures almost gets them there. They block with 1. They block with a 2nd. They make just a bat. They go to 5. So now they have 3 creatures. They get another life, go to 6. Now this triggers, and now I can put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature. It gains trample until end of turn. So I can now prioritize making one creature rather large and then giving it trample as long as they're tapped out. We have to worry about a flash creature or even a Get Lost that these decks sometimes play. The werewolf is what I would be thinking of. Adeline's good. This flyer is also good. Attack. They should attack with something. Attack with what you're not planning to block with, and that makes sense. But here comes the question. Pretty sure mine will have trample. Will it have enough? I'm not sure. I don't know. It will only be a 4/4. That's kind of brutal. This can grow this into being larger, and then both, like, multiple creatures can get trample. They have kind of one decent block here. I can pump this up to 6, make it 7, and attack with it, and it has trample. So they can't really just chump it. But a land would have also been nice. I think I'm going with that route. Put all my counters here. Is one big basket, that is for sure. And then I am going to force blocks. Giving this trample. Adeline alone does not take it out. So let's see. Veteran's a free block. Of course, the Luminarch veteran. They gain some life on creatures dying. But they throw Adeline in front of the Beast Collar. They're looking to kill it. They won't be able to kill anything else. But the Bloomkin will go up in power. I assume it's probably the better one. It doesn't really matter, but I definitely want it to hit Adeline first. Oh, they didn't block enough. Mate, that's not how Phantom works. I just assumed they blocked enough. Wait, they did their math wrong. Very cool. Very cool. My opponent goes first. We'll keep this. Really needing to find a land, but the scout might be able to help us there. Ooh. Adaptive can go again. Gal's now a little bit larger, which helps. Another one of these is not quite what we want. Yeah, Ords off sacrifice is going to be tough. Or Ords off value, if you would. Although, I would argue that these are pretty good against it. But let's play a Beast Caller. Don't have a creature that necessarily enters the battlefield bigger than the Sharp-Eyed Rookie right now. Will they play another Blade? Will they usually get lost? Will they usually go for the throw to cut down? There's a lot of things it could be. That's honestly why here, whenever I play this Simulacrum, I was going to target it regardless. Because this being an artifact, it turns off go for the throw, and the counters it puts on it makes it dodge cut down as well. Although a Bristly Bill is pretty sick. But I still like my plan of the Simulacrum. Then if I can next turn draw a land, I can play Bill and then the Sharp-Eyed Rookie. Now I have a 4/3 that dodges a lot of their removal, unless they have, of course, another Pixie pickup Blade or just another Blade. Then I'm in a bad spot, but it is what it is. I run out of. I guess they could also play Liliana. This does not seem like a great matchup now that I'm in it and experiencing it. That's for sure. Where are we at, opponent? Thorin? Okay. Make it 2/3. Sure. Hard-hitting questions. Pretty devastating draw for our opponent, if I had to say so myself. I'm going to shoot the life gainer out of the way, because that seems like the right play to make. Then I'm going to go to combat, and I'm going to have this attack Sorin, forcing maybe a block of sorts. Or they let the Sorin go, which actually blows my mind. And then I'll play a Sharp-Eyed Rookie. I feel like Sorin's just worth keeping there. Like, what more value does the Pixie gain you, I guess? I don't know. This enters. They pick up the Blade. On Blade replay, Sharp-Eyed Rookie is definitely the sacrificial piece here. Because again, dodging, go for the throw, and cut down all in one card here. Seems good for me. And with that said, I kind of want to just play more of these. Move the combat here. No pause. No blocks. Bristly Bill dies to kind of everything, so let's try this. Target itself. It sticks through, so they did not have a cut down in hand. They hit another land. Novice Inspector, not the best of all time. Will they continue this aggressive trend? I'm not sure. They do. They're just full on scale ready to race. Which is an interesting call, if I do say so myself. Combat. Attack. Maybe they have a spell. They have a flanker, okay? Either way, it does trade off both of these if they want to double walk somewhere. Bottom both, not necessarily a good sign for them. Will they go for that? Okay. I forgot that that just also died to that, so please don't listen to me ever. Now we got this. We got Bristly Bill coming in, putting a counter on this, so our kind of creatures are diversifying. And with Unearth, the creature gets haste, so this will actually be a pretty damaging threat coming in. If Bristly Bill had a counter, you can argue I save it. With that said, am I supposed to sacrifice the Beast Caller and put a counter on Bill? Because Bill has the ability to double the counters. But this is just when I cast a creature, so it'll grow off this. Yeah, Bill will go. Bill goes. Bill Nye, the graveyard guy. Boom, boom. Can't do too much of that, or YouTube's algorithm will definitely pick it up and then DMCA me into the ground. Can I stop getting bladed, by the way? Ooh, keeping up the aggressive trend. Impressive. Kind of crazy, if you ask me. I don't know quite how aggressive I would be in this spot, but hey, it's not a cast. Haha. Well, this just dies, so I don't even feel like obligated to put it on there. I'm gonna put it on this guy. Play this land and just attack. Yeah, they obviously have a clear block in mind. They take 5. Unearth goes away. I forgot that wasn't a cast, or I probably would have just cast the other one. Holy cow, the amount of flickering the stupid blade that there has been. I can't take it. Oh my, no way, dude. It should have been what I felt like is a free matchup for me, but I can't. Not free. Like, that spot was pretty good. And then I'm just dead in the air. Oh, what an annoying game. Yeah, you got it. Go first. His hand's kind of questionable, but hopefully we rip a 2-drop. It's kind of our most filled slot in our deck. But Adaptive coming in, kind of being like whatever, and then Bloated Contaminator probably being the one we cast. Actually, if I hit nothing, it'll definitely be this one. But we do hit that 2-drop. A very nice spot here to pick it up. You see Orzhov back at it again against Orzhov. Do not blade me, or it's on site. Just kidding. What am I? Maybe, probably. Cleric? Yeah, I mean, I think it's that deck, right? No, that has Death Touch though. That does suck. Throws both of them, and then I'm kind of fine with whatever. But this is life gain, so I kind of have to force them to block and take trades. Oh man, I do not like this at all. I can't wait for the removal. I think I have to go now. Now the problem is they might play the creature that brings back a creature, and then this is all for nothing for the most part. Veteran. Amalia. I saw Covert's video too. You can't stop me. This one. Into this one. Adaptive trigger. So with these things here, -3, -3. This will get larger, so I'll just grow it instead. So the -3 factor is no longer relevant. We hit for 4. They are a life gain deck, I'm pretty positive. So now this is a 6/6, which is pretty devastating. Not an artifact. These creatures are always weird to me from this blocker set, if you want to call it that, because some of them had that like I'm an artifact part to them, and others were like, no, I'm not an artifact. What do you mean? Okay, land, play this case, grow this creature, yes, and then we move to combat and we attack. So everything trades. If they have to block with the preacher, which they do because it's Xaxes, or they can throw the veteran in front. They block with the preacher, sure. I kind of assumed, at least in my opinion, that I probably would target the Trampler, especially when you can absorb it all. You sure you take a little bit more, but like if I'm on their side, like I know they're an Amalia deck. Yeah, it's not necessarily great. Deep Cavern Bat, actually not a bad rip here, whether they think so or not. Kaya in these decks are crazy to me. They're so crazy to me. Now it is. Oh boy. It is attack, put a counter on Contaminator. Yeah, I think so. Put a counter here. Well, actually, I guess it should have been this, because then it would have trample, but the problem is I don't want Amalia to have a free block. Per se, I guess nothing would be free there. I don't know. I guess like I should have done it the other way, but they don't trade that off anyway, so it deals damage. I can proliferate now, and they're also almost just dead to poison. I'm gonna keep this in hand for a Bristly Bill. I don't really benefit from playing any more mana here. I guess my idea when I talked about that before is if Molly was going to block and trade something off, like a this card, I can then unearth it, was my idea. I'm pretty sure that was my idea. I kind of just forgot mid like doing it. What do we got, opponent? All right, so when a creature leaves, please do not mess up the math like our previous opponent. I get wanting a Malia to trigger. I feel like that attack might be... Well, I guess if I give it trample, like, it doesn't matter. At least in my opinion. You have Rite of Oblivion, maybe? I don't remember exactly what Rite of Oblivion says you can and can't sacrifice. Some drop Poisoner. They gained... like, nothing. Sure. They have 3 life to gain, so they're at 7. Both these creatures will have trample, and I rip another land, which is admittedly devastating. So now I have 7. I have 15 damage in trample. They have 7. They have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have 13. I think it's just enough regardless. I don't know if they realize that the death trigger is not going to happen, or maybe they just realized the math didn't matter anyway, because this does not work. Yeah, if they would have blocked the life gain, looks like they would have lived at 1, I think, if we look. I see it has them at 0, but arena does some weird stuff when it like closes. They would have blocked, they'd have lived at 1. Maybe not the best, but I am kind of isolated with a couple of lands in hand. Okay, so here I am, mono green Stompy, and honestly, I had an interesting day with it. I thought it was going to do significantly worse. As you can probably tell by the intro, I wasn't too high on the deck. Starting off, at least, I've not built mono green Stompy in standard in a pretty long time, and trying to build one that's rotation safe seems also worse, because a archetype that doesn't really exist and then kind of making it worse. But the idea is to kind of hit the ground running when we get forward into the new set, right? And this is an interesting deck if you are looking forward to kind of playing standard in the future. Actually, it's got a little bit more rares in it than I thought, but like kind of uncommon, common, uncommon, which is arguably our best 2-drop in our deck. This card is deceivingly really good. And then you have this card, which kind of fits that bill. But I didn't realize there were this many rares and mythics in the deck, so it's a little bit questionable. Do I recommend crafting this deck just straight out the gate? No, I definitely don't. If you have some of the pieces and you can kind of just throw it together, sure, play your mono green challenges with it. I don't know. By that, like your dailies, this is like a fine list to do that because it is somewhat competitive. But right now, without rotation, this deck kind of just loses to blue-white control. Like, there's not really any chance you can win that game. I would have kept the match in, but the opponent kept doing the clock thing where they would wait until the very end of their clock to make a game action for some reason. I don't know. So I cut the game, but I lost that game pretty handily. And the reason I lost that game was because of the card Wandering Emperor, which will no longer be in standard after this on August 2nd. So that's kind of exciting to see. Mono green is like a really fun deck, and I think it's one of the easier decks for like new players to get into the format. Not necessarily craft wise, but just like getting into Magic. Mono green Stompy is kind of the deck that you give somebody. You're like, play your creature every turn, do your thing. However, this deck was made targeting kind of a specific archetype, as you might have been able to tell, against Boros and mono red and things like that, which we did end up facing quite a lot in today's video. So that might be why it did a little bit better than I thought it would. But just getting the set like a 1-drop down, that's kind of annoying for them. That is realistically, this is a 2/2, and we hope that this is, but that's why this is 4 of and this is 3 of. But when we put this in play and it grows off of playing something else like a Beast Color, which is probably the best 2-drop outside of the Bloomkin, it just gets really hard for Boros to get through all that. They really have to get a case early and online pretty quickly in order to kind of shoot down our creatures that are very troublesome to them. Or they get stuck in this weird spot where they get a lot of creatures, and then I just build a lot of creatures out, and the case isn't quite enough because then they have 5 or 6 other creatures that are all 5/5s or 6/6s they have to get through, and it's just not necessarily a great plan for them. But as you can tell, Like, we were just all on the lower to the ground. There are a couple of things I might see in the future where we play a little bit more desert centric and play some of the new green cards that we got, like the Colossal Dreadworm, I think is called. Oh, that's not going to get me there. What happened here? Like, oh my god, well, the arrows are broke. Dreadworm? I don't remember what it's called. Either way, the 4-drop that's from Outlaws that has flash if you control desert. But that's going to do it for me. I don't really have a whole lot more to say. It's getting pretty late for me. Mono green did well. I don't really recommend crafting it because right now, especially, you have a lot of kind of auto losses when it comes to playing against some of those hard control decks. Sunfall is really devastating if you can't get there fast enough, and Wandering Emperor is the perfect card that they get to play in between that and Sunfalling you. That just buys them enough time, because it doesn't matter if this is a 300 if it gets exiled by an Emperor, it does nothing. So with that said, I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for watching and goodbye.